cops can't read any of my textbooks, and neither can the foster family. Like, they don't understand it. And I thought it was like so easy. I thought it was like an easy read, but they make it easy because it's for students, people who are just starting to learn about the subject, and that's how they write it. But if they can't even grasp that, then it's like, oh my god, what am I supposed to tell you? You can't even read like a very simple textbook targeted towards young adults. Like, demographics are for people who don't know how much about the subject. So it's like, okay, like this, you can't dumb it down any further. But another thing is that they didn't want to say that they didn't understand it, so they just took it literally, like the surface level. They don't understand any of it. I'm just like, wow. I mean, it's gonna fuck you up if you go by what they're saying literally, and like you try to like, you know, be scientists even though you're not qualified for it. That's academia. It's not really weeding people out. It's just kind of like you have to knock yourself out. It's like, oh, what does happen if I put a fork in my electric outlet plug? Let's see, and then blah blah blah, and then you die. Or like, can my legs survive a chainsaw? Why would anybody want to do that? I don't know. Some people do. It's really weird. Yeah, they're retarded. They're like mentally like children, like kindergarten children. And I am not in the mood for babysitting, and I definitely am not getting paid to do so I'm not gonna do it. Obviously, like what? Also, there's a lot of slaves here. Also, with the YouTube, they keep flagging every video that has anything to do with Jewish people being terrorists. So, like every time someone mentions, oh, Jewish people are terrorists, they actually like flag all those videos or something. Oh, also another update with my foster mom. Apparently, she's gotten better, but I don't know if that's true. I have a feeling she might be just lying about it. She's still targeting me. Like her plan is to actually like make sure that like I'm abused or raped somehow. I don't know why she wants to kill me. Like everything she does is just her telling me like, I want you to die, I want you to kill yourself, you're not worth my time, nobody's ever gonna love you. And I'm like, I thought it was weird because she keeps on talking about herself, right? Like that's what she's doing, that's what she's like, and that's how other people have treated her because of how she's like, the type of person she is, right? I think that's called discrimination. Like if you're that type of person but you haven't done anything despite being that type of person, right, then people can't say anything, right? Or treat you any differently. But if you are, or they will make assumptions about you based on something that's not true, that's called harassment. So treating you based on assumptions they have about you without any evidence or any sort of relationship prior to that, disregarding relationships, all that kind of stuff. Well, they have antisocial personality disorder. That's called, what's it called? That is called harassment. It's illegal. People end up in prison because of it. What else? Yeah, she's been trying to kill me or like get me to have sex with her or something. Like I don't know what the fuck her problem is. The psychiatrist, like some people have told me that she doesn't have schizophrenia, she has pedophilia. She's a pedophile. And that's why she has a mental health issue, and a doctor did tell me she was going through psychosis. But I was like, how come she has psychosis if she's a pedophile? And they're like, it's comorbid with other disorders. But the psychosis is also apparent in many different illnesses, not just schizophrenia, and not just mood disorders. Although the most most of the time when people experience psychosis, the first thing they go to is either schizophrenia or any mood disorders. But since she doesn't have any of the mood disorders or like schizophrenia, it's sexual paraphilia. And I was like, if it's that obvious, like how come she was able to adopt me? And I think something fucked up happened where they weren't the ones who signed up for the adoption. Yeah, I'm starting to suspect that a different couple, like their family members or something, were one of the family members with the extended family members signed up for adoption so they could adopt me, but um and then they were able to adopt me, and then they just gave me to them to take care of, despite being legally responsible for me. And they're technically legally responsible for me too. So now it's just a whole, like, it's fucked up. Um, I don't know how to talk to her about that because I do realize that I don't really agree with pedophilia being a mental illness, but the psychiatrist has repeatedly told me it is a mental illness. And I'm like, are you sure they're not criminals? And they're like, no, if they do something about that, like if they do actually assault a child, if they are caught with evidence with molestation or some sort of child sexual abuse, then yeah, that's a criminal. I'm like, yeah, isn't that sexual abuse? And it's like, no. I guess they're saying like she didn't legitimately touch you inappropriately, like physically. She's planning on doing so now as you are older, but she's not actually doing that currently to you, and you are actively staying away from her. Except she's created this situation, and I don't know why everyone even went along with it. Where somebody has to rely, like you have to rely on someone for food or shelter, and the cops were involved because they wanted to see me get molested, which they're getting convicted for, to which they are also receiving a restraining order for. So that's kind of where that's at. Yeah, everybody who was involved with the schools, interfering with my life progress and all that kind of stuff, yeah, they're getting sued for it. They are technically, I mean, they're poor. I didn't know they were slaves. Like the whole freeing the slaves was a bad idea. I don't know why people would do that. Apparently they're like, yeah, slaves should be free and we're all equals now. And I'm like, excuse me? What did you just say to my face? Yeah, there's a bunch of slaves in America. You're supposed to like get them to work, like you have to force them to work and do all that kind of stuff. They're treating me as if I was a slave. Even though actually I think they were the slaves. They didn't want to be slaves anymore. People try to do the freedom of rights or whatever in America. It's like, oh, you're not a slave anymore. You're not enslaved to somebody else to your debt. And I was like, I don't know about that. That's why they're slaves. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, their existence is already a debt occurring in society. So they're like, there's like a leech where like, when somebody has a baby, there's a function and a reason for it. Whereas with slaves, there's no function or reason for it. Right? Like the baby has no real goals or real motivations in being involved with society, nor will it ever function as a normal member of society. Any part of a society, any of the subculture, subgroups, or anything like that, none of that. It won't do anything to help anybody, and all it does is like a plant sit there, eat, and produce waste, which is fine for a cell, but not for an actual human being. Right? They actually have to be pro-social and proactive. But anyway. Yeah, so she's planning to sexually assault me. The cops were involved. They were trying to get out of it by trying to either trigger some sort of mental illness in me, because they think that's how people get mentally ill, or forcing me to get a diagnosis, or like incurring some sort of PTSD in me, so that like I'll end up with like trauma or something. That's what they were aiming for. It didn't work. I don't know how I'm supposed to talk to Susan, because every time I talk to her, she just responds abnormally. Like I can see that she's making it sound and taking in a way that it's sexual or romantic, but that's not what I'm saying. That's not how I'm responding, but that's how she's responding. And in the way that she's responding, she's doing this intentionally. She's making it seem like as if we've had some sort of prior relationship. It's called a scam. She thinks that I don't know that's what she's doing. She thinks that I'm not aware of it. I've never actually responded positively to anything that she's done to me so far. Ever. Everything she said to me, everything, the way that she's treated me and the way she's viewed me, I was like, what the fuck? I don't know why I was even placed in their care, but I think it's because they knew at the very least they weren't gonna actually sexually assault me, as in like they weren't gonna rape me when I was a kid. If that makes sense. Like they weren't gonna send it to people who are gonna like they might actually steal belongings from me, it's a bad sign. And by the time word gets out, they won't be able to come near me anymore. Like legally or like socially, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna get killed off either way, or I'm gonna end up killing them in self-defense. Realistically speaking. But that's what's happening. Yeah, I have no idea why people don't like talking about this kind of stuff. It's like, they said slavery is bad. We're gonna abolish slavery. Well, you're gonna kill every slave. That's great. I would love to see that happen. That never happened. Where are all the dead slaves? I see them walking around everywhere. But they keep stealing and ganging up and mobbing on people and like scamming people, conning people, running their pyramid schemes and multi-level marketing schemes or whatever. They keep like they don't understand values, they don't understand standards, they're really stupid. If you want them to work, you have to force them to work, and they keep thinking that they're better than they actually are. The only time slaves realize who they are as a person is if you actually treat them as if they are what they are. You know, it's really annoying, and I don't know why they're putting them in authority positions. Yeah, because you're gonna put the slave in very nice and fancy threads, gonna put them amongst the regular children, and no one's gonna find out, right? Like you can't tell what that is. You're fucking stupid. Yeah, no one can tell, right? Like it's so stupid. Oh, no one would be able to say anything. You know, they can learn the same way as other people. No, they can't.